Janice, I owe. Big time. she's my Cupid in my life. I started to reach out to people saying, hey, do you mind doing shout outs? Because people don't know I'm here and I would love to do this. Babe, nobody gave me shout outs. People just ignored me. They're like, yes, Sameera, kya bol rahi hai? And these are people who at the top of my game were friends. 2 agencies who I've done the biggest work with earlier, they didn't even come for the meeting. And one actually said, so what is your concept? Like, are you going to be yummy mummy like a Malaika Arora? Are you going to be, a sexy mom like Shilpa, like a fitness mom, like a yoga mummy? Like now that, you're pregnant, what is the branding? I had postpartum blues. I also put on a lot of weight, Janice, and you know what? People are so unforgiving. I was so scared of being photographed by a pap huge that I would not go out. So I have this amazing exercise and tell everyone to do it. After you finish your bath, please stand naked in front of the mirror. And I mean butt naked. Okay? And look at your body. Look at every part of your body that bothers you and parts of your body that you love. Accept it, let it go, deal with it, and don't ignore it. Hi, I'm Sameera Reddy. I used to be Sexy Sam, but now I'm just Messy Mama. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Back to the Start with Janice. Alright, so about today's guest. She and I go back such a long way that I can almost take credit for the fact that I not just introduced her to her husband, but in some way I also had a role in sort of her entire social media career which is all centered around her family, by the way. What's up, Sexy Sam? I do not call her Sameera Reddy. I don't think I've ever called you Sameera also. Sexy Sam.
Sexy Sam.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. Sexy Sam, you have to give like a cool, I like to ask everyone to give like a cool introduction of themselves right at the start.
Me introducing myself?
Yeah, like a, hi, I'm Sameera Reddy, or as my friends like to call me, Sexy Sam.
Oh my God. All right.
Hi, I'm Sameera Reddy. I used to be Sexy Sam, but now I'm just Messy Mama, which the whole world knows me as. I prefer being this, by the way. I can't be sexy anymore, man. It's just too hard.
1 second, please fuck off. What do you mean you're not sexy?
Okay, hold on. To keep up with this whole sexy business, sexy has a tag that everybody expects you to be a certain way. Now my sexy is in like I wake up in my morning with my frizzy hair and everything hanging out and all my rolls and I'm like, I'm sexy. And that's what I guess being messy is all about.
But that's also sexy only, no? Now.
It is.
Yeah.
My God, being real is sexy, and thankfully when I came in, everybody was like, sorry, that sound is really bad.
Yeah, sound is really bad. I'm like, ambulance ko yahi moment mila tha.
That's what Bombay is, It's very New York now. It's like ambulances and
But this gives my
cars.
grandmom anxiety every time.
But I'll be honest, it gives me anxiety.
Yeah.
Because now I'm going. I was.
मतलब गोवा में लोग नहीं मरते.
I can't hear anything, babe.
हाँ, तू जंगल में रहती है.
Jangle.
Your Hindi is bad, her Hindi is bad. What is up with you people? So listen, you have to listen to my Netra story. I love telling.
Acha, we need to go back to the.
Gone.
Janice, come back to the podcast, Janice.
Okay.
Janice.
Yeah, we had to take a quick break because there was an ambulance sound. So what were we talking about? About being
We were
sexy?
talking about being sexy.
Yeah.
And sexy to me right now is a state of mind. Or maybe I've sort of convinced myself. Because when I married Akshay, I think he was used to me always worried about it in the morning. I should be like, oh my God, it would look like a certain way. I was very worried about my grace showing. Today I'm like, this is me. I feel good like as I am.
Mr. Vardhanshi ka naam le hi liya hai, then we must talk about.
Okay, guys.
Wait. I'll explain to you.
Janice.
No, first context is important. So, I used to be at Times Now. Yes, the same channel.
I still have her number saved as Janice Times Now. I have not changed it, by the way.
You should, please.
Because I'm sentimental.
Yeah, mental. Okay. So, my colleague Renelle and I used to host a show called E Now Spice, where we used to do all kinds of random stuff with celebrities, okay? I mean, I feel like I don't even know what we were thinking on certain days. It would be like as though we're high or something. We're just sitting there and like, how can we do this? So we had the idea of wanting to do a motorbike shoot with someone, and we were like, who would be crazy enough to allow us to shoot this? And of course, then we thought of Sameera, because Sam was always game to do crazy stuff. Other celebrities also did mad stuff, but Sam was game to do really quirky stuff. So we went to Sam, and she was like, but guys, I'm not really good on a bike and all that. How will you all manage and stuff like that? And we said, don't worry, our auto team, knows somebody who, sort of modifies bikes and is really into bikes. And that was Mr.
Mr. Vardenchi.
Vardenchi.
Okay, Janice, you changed my life.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, no, seriously. This is not even a joke. Okay, this girl is the reason I know my husband.
And Rinel, we can't finish. We
Renel,
can't forget
yes.
Rindu.
Yeah, both of y'all. I'll never forget that my PR manager was standing next to me. We were on the slope, and I'm like, "Where's this guy? Who's coming? What bike? Just hurry up!" Because of course, drama. I had a couple. I had, I think. Zoom also there at that time. Some TV channel was also filming this and all that. And Akshay comes in like on a bike. And okay, this was a moment. Because I usually don't like gasp or drool, or I'm one of those very controlled, what will people think at that time. And I was like, he came up and I was like, you look hot on that bike. It just came flying out of my mouth. It was a moment, it was like an ad. He took off his helmet. He's like, hi, I'm Akshay. And I, at that moment, was like, what? Hi. And it was game over, guys. Game over. I was gone. I was drooling. I was behaving like an idiot. You know how they say you do the dog and pony show? I was like, he's like, so do you think you can handle the bike? I'm like, I can handle it. I'm good at this. And this is big bike with 300 tires and those massive choppers.
Yeah.
I was photoing inside. I was photoing, but I was like, game on. I need to patao this guy. That means I need to patao him that I know the bike. I am telling you, I almost fell off that bike 10 times. I was shaking in my boots, but I did the shoot.
Shaking in my boots and shaking all
Shaking
over.
on my boots. Anyways, the shoot got over and I was like, I'm feeling fluttery and all. What do I do? And I asked him for his number. Well, I actually told him that my friend Vivek Oberoi might want a bike. I don't know why I don't know why Vivek's name came out. Maybe I was working with him at that time. I said, Vivek might love this bike. Don't know why I used that. I said, so maybe I should get your number. Again, Ibu, my PR guy, just looking at me like, oh my God, Sameera. Behave. And he had never seen me like this. I don't come on so strong.
And the thing is that you had a very, I think, open relationship with me and Rinel as well. And you came to us and you were like, am I the only one who's finding this guy really hot, or is he hot overall? And Rinel and me, these journalists from Times Now were like, Sam, chill. You're the celebrity here.
I was very open about the fact that Akshay got me from the moment go. And honestly, it's been almost 14 years now. 13, yeah. When my 13 or 14th year, I think. And I have to admit, he still has me right there, which is nice. It's nice. And I was one of those real roving-eyed kind of chicks. It was very hard for me to get chained down to anybody. In fact, people used to tell me, Sameera, Reddy, what are you going to do? How are you ever going to get zoned into one guy? But it happened.
Cut to, I think, a few months after this shoot, I was at I was at PVR watching a movie with some friends, and from far I can see someone who looks like Sameera, okay, but she looks at me and she's not looking happy to see me, and I'm like, why? And also we had texted about you'd asked me for Joel's number also, and you had said how well does Joel know? Joel is, by the way, used to be the auto head of the Times Now team, and so you were like, how well? I think you wanted to do, I don't know, some background check or some shit like that.
Not that, because I went guns blazing onto Akshay. The guy didn't stand a chance. It was just like, I'm going for this, and he was very apprehensive. Because Akshay comes from this very, Akshay, right? Mr. Oh my God, Bollywood. So there's a really funny story. Cut to 2 weeks into trying to date him. it was Jan, so it was Filmfare Awards, and I was wearing this Shane and Falguni sari, you know, with peacock feathers and full hair and makeup, drama styled. You know, it was that high heel confidential time. Does anybody remember that?
Yeah, everyone. High heel confidential in the comment section now.
Yeah, oh my God. Anyway, so I say to Akshay, let's go and meet at Olive after and do a dinner. And he was coming back from work. I thought he'd get really impressed because here I came out of the car, you know, like this was a real ride there. Matlab,
Pari
you know,
aa gayi.
yeah, Pari hu main. You know, I was just full coming out. He was like, you should see his face. He was like, I am not walking into the restaurant with you like this. I mean, I don't know what this is, but do you mind if we take a rain check? This is happening outside Olive. I got such a downer. I was so upset. I was like, I'm dressed like, you can't imagine. And he's like, exactly. I just need you. And I don't know what this is. Do you mind going and washing up and then we go somewhere quiet for dinner? And we didn't. I actually went home, cried buckets. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
But you know, that's what happened, right? He sort of got me about, you know, I think somehow he understood me that there was another person behind it all. And luckily, thanks to him, I am that person today. I sometimes feel messy mama and whoever I am happened when he was that catalyst.
Yeah, because I mean, I remember like you guys started dating, and that PVR story which was incomplete, basically I spied, like, you know, like, is that
Janice caught me and she's like, that's Sameera. I was like, oh my God, I'm holding hands.
I didn't even remember, to be fair, I did not remember Akshay's name. And I'm like, wait, isn't that guy who came on the shoot and, you know, taught you how to ride the bike? And she's like, babe, he's much more than that. And yeah, we're kind of here on a date. And I'm like, and I remember calling my colleague Renelle and saying, do you know that we've actually accidentally set up Sameera Reddy? At that time, we thought only for a relationship. Clearly, now we realize we set you up for life.
So my manager was asking me today, she's like, you've come to Bombay and you're refusing to shoot with anybody. How come you're shooting with Janice? Sequeira?
Why, Vidushi? You don't think I'm worth shooting with? I'm very offended.
I actually turned down everybody because I'm here for my mom, right? And I had said I'm not going to do any shoots. And she said, but you're doing Janice's shoot? I said, babe, Janice, I owe. Big time. she's my Cupid in my life.
Yeah, even though Akshay barely knows I exist, and matlab shaadi ka invitation to bilkul nahi bheja. It is the one thing I hold against Sameera when she got married.
And I got married on my terrace.
And I saw it on, I don't know, it was in the news, because I don't think this was Instagram time, it was in the news. And I was like, what the fuck? This bee, like, we set her up. And we don't even as much as get an invitation to the wedding.
Just talking about other topics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyun nahi bulaya?
Dude, I got married on my terrace.
So?
I got married within 5 days. And I'm sure the whole media thought, man, this chick is so definitely preggers. But I wasn't. We got married within a week because the Panditji said the next nice date was in May, which I felt was too hot. And he said 21st of Jan, you know, is the best. बहुत शुभ शुभ मुहूर्त ऐसा बहुत सालों तक नहीं मिलेगा. And I was like, Akshay, the weather is also nice. And he's like, yeah, I don't mind an anniversary in good weather. That was one of the
Future planning.
That's one of the reasons why we got married literally in a week on the terrace. And we just did like a small, like it was like literally like a small ceremony with like 35 people.
But you called Joel.
Joel was
there at the wedding.
No way.
Yes, Joel was at the wedding.
I'm so
Very
sorry.
offended that Joel was at the wedding. Joel had nothing to do with anything.
Moving on to other parts.
Okay, I forgive you. But now here we are, and I feel like the entire episode, like I thought long and hard about, like, you know, we've been wanting to shoot together for a while, and I wanted to do something which I felt would do justice to the space that you're in. And for me, the theme of this episode, more than anything else, is sort of someone who's reinvented herself. Right? Because years later, I think, you know, when you come to Bombay, and again, we met at a theatre only. And I remember this is a Bandra random theatre. Yeah, apparently. And I met you, and this was at the height of the Me Too movement, and you were very moved by it. Yes. We had a long conversation. We talked about it on the phone. And you were like, but babe, I don't know anything about social media. I want to put my voice out there, but what do I do in this and that? And I remember from you telling me, I'm not even sure whether I should put out a Facebook post which in my head I was like, wow, Facebook to ho gaya ancient.
Yeah, but I did, and it really it was very powerful when I did. I felt empowered when I did it.
Yeah, and but from there to now, you've had this massive explosion on social media. I'm gonna start with what was the root of it all?
So basically, now this is in a nutshell. Of course, I was Sexy Sam, right? At the point when I got married and I had my
By the way, I want to
kid.
tell you, I never gave you the nickname Sexy Sam.
but
It was all the boys in the office.
How sweet.
At,
Where are those boys now? Where are y'all? No, just kidding. No, but the thing is that it started off with that whole Sexy Sam bit.
Huh.
And when I had my child, and I sort of completely had it was like the onion peeled on all levels. I had a mental breakdown when I had my son. I had postpartum and a lot of issues. I was 105 kgs. I had completely got disoriented with what I was and who I represented post birth. And it happened to me in such a harsh way. And honestly, it took me 2 years to even get out of it. So when I got out of it, number one, I realized I can never go back to that anxiety of fitting in. Number two, there are other women out there who go through this sort of crisis, and who do they turn to? If people like me don't talk about my stretch marks, don't talk about how hard it is to keep up, and I'm constantly doing that, then I'm just adding fuel to the fire and somebody else out there is struggling. This was my sort of concept in my brain when I decided to come back and speak again. But the minute I tried to go out there, and I was very late to the Instagram space.
Yeah.
I was appalled because exactly what I was trying to combat was what was going on. It's like everyone was like, oh my God, I wake up every day, I look like this, and my husband's so sweet, and we jet off there. And, everything was about the grass is so green and beautiful, and, all the best angles and filters. That was one thing I was very uncomfortable about. Second is, I did not know how to go out there and start. So I was very, I tried to call a few people. I'm like, so what do I do? I actually went to people saying, how do I come back in?
Like when you say people, do you mean actors? Do you mean
certain
social media
actors,
agencies?
certain media agencies, because I was trying to say that I would like to, I knew what I wanted to do, and I wanted to do this. I mean, Messy Mama, of course, just happened, and the whole real space happened because this is what I already envisioned. I knew I couldn't come back and lie. I wanted to say I get anxiety attacks. I can't handle it. I cry myself every week wondering, am I an imposter? What's all this nonsense? And am I really fat? And I'm a thin girl, I'm a big girl, I'm blah, blah, blah. I had all these thoughts going on in my brain, and I wanted to just streamline it and say, dude, this is who I am. And I have good days and I have absolute shit days. But when I wanted to say this, a lot of people are like, are you bloody crazy? They're like, first of all, I had an agency that time tell me, I said, do you mind, because can you show me how to do this? I didn't even know how to post. I was that bad. Now I'll tell you the reality and the harsh reality of it all. 4 years ago, when I was pregnant with Naira, this is when I said, hey, I'd like to come back and have a really nice conversation with people. First of all, nobody wanted the conversation. The minute I started trying to say this, I had people dropping off. I had barely 10,000 followers. और वो 10,000 भी भाग रहे थे कि what are you? Because they expected Sexy Sam. They didn't like the fact that I was being honest.
Just to clarify, this is, you're saying, your audience on social media, on Instagram.
So when I started, as many people came on, those many people were running away because they're like, what is she on?
We joined because this is
this is that girl. This is that girl. And I can't blame them. That was one thing, but I was okay about it. I said, because here I am to change the conversation, and that takes a risk. And that risk is, I want the good crowd. That was the first thing. Second, I started to reach out to people saying, hey, do you mind doing shout outs? Because people don't know I'm here and I would love to do this. Babe, nobody gave me shout outs. People just ignored me. They're like, yes, Sameera, kya bol rahi hai? And these are people who at the top of my game were friends. And people just ignored me. Designers, they just didn't give me those shout outs.
Just to put it into context, it's like every time there's, a new celebrity joining Instagram or a new debutante joining Instagram, you see a whole bunch of people going welcoming XYZ to Instagram. Can't wait to see what you've got.
Said, you should have all your friends say it because you've just entered. You barely have anyone.
Yeah.
Babe, nobody did it. I swear to God, I don't remember at the top of my head. Everybody was just because I had disappeared.
Correct.
And they saw me as I didn't even have that blue tick. Anyway, that started. I said, forget it. Then I went to an agency. I said, listen, so I don't know how to make content. I don't know what all this is. Can you help me? I said, whatever it takes. Two agencies who I've done the biggest work with earlier, they didn't even come for the meeting. And one actually said, so what is your concept? Like, are you going to be yummy mummy like a Malaika Arora? Are you going to be, a sexy mom like Shilpa, like a fitness mom, like a yoga mummy? Like now that, you're pregnant, what is the branding? Branding? Babe, it just blew my brain. I'm like, I'm not branding nothing. I just want to come and sort of rebuild a space which is a safe space for conversation. I'm not interested in the brands. I'm just right now here to just find my space again. Dude, they never called me back. They were like this cuckoo. This girl bloody.
She's living in some state of
She's
denial.
gone mad.
Yeah.
She's like fat. I was quite plump that time. I was huge. I was pregnant. I had grey hair, lots of grey hair that time. I still do. And I was honest about it. I said, babe, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not going down this yoga mummy space. I can't keep up with it. This is just putting me back where it's taking me backwards.
Yeah.
Then I decided, I'm going to change the game. And if people don't want to be here, it's okay. Second, I realized that I needed to be a healthy, positive space, which means this fear of people were like, you're going to take away somebody else's shine. I came from the spaces that there's space for everybody. There is space for everybody, which means if there are so many mothers out there, babe, you're in your space, you're in your space, there's no clashing. So I came from a very clear thought process, which is I'm going to say what I feel. You want to stay here and be a part of it, great. If you don't, bless you. There is no trolling, and if there are trolls, it's fine. It's your evolution. It's not my problem. And with that started my journey, which was thad. I'd make rubbish reels, and I call it rubbish in a great way. I respect brainless, fun comedy, which is just making people laugh, having fun.
Actually, I don't think it's rubbish. I think what you're trying to say is relatable.
It's relatable. It's sometimes it makes no sense, but it's such a release of anxiety. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's like bringing light to, for example, my mother-in-law and me. We bring light to the fact that mother-in-law and daughter-in-law is like bloody hell. We clash. It's a hard space. But I constantly bring the comedy aspect in there because there is anxiety and we deal with it by having fun with each other. So social media is that journey. It's from here when nobody believed in me, from 10,000 followers, to today wherever I am. The numbers don't matter. What matters, when I touched 1 million, I actually did a reel saying, this is to that 500,000, thank you for leaving. Because it's the truth. They did not want to hear this.
Yeah.
And I've had funny. Most people have been supportive, but I've had women who I'm like, you are just breaking your this image of you for us, and I'm like, listen, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I am going to talk about aging.
Yeah.
I am going to talk about problems. I am going to say that there are issues, and not in a bad way, in the most relatable, fun way that we all can feel comfortable.
One thing I always wanted to ask you was that after you met Akshay, I feel like, and of course, it's got maybe nothing to do with the fact that you were in a relationship, but you went off the radar pretty quickly.
Yes.
Like, I think after you got married, it was almost like, to a lot of us, you disappeared. Like, where is Sameera?
I did
But why did you disappear?
So I had a lot of issues with my first pregnancy. I had a lot of issues.
So how soon after you got married?
Immediately. I got pregnant, like, I think within a couple of months I was pregs.
Okay.
And within the year I had Hans. And I had postpartum blues. I also put on a lot of weight, Janice, and you know what? People are so unforgiving. Even the bhaji wala will say, Didi, kya ho gaya aapko? Didi, aap ho? I mean, still, I will tell you, sometimes, I'm amazed how Indians have this beautiful knack of saying, aap badal gaye ho na, madam?
I relate so bad to this.
I'm just like, it doesn't affect me anymore because it's the truth. And somewhere I always say it's the innocence of people that they look up to you and then they also feel like, but where is she? So that's what happened. I think I was caught in my own demons of how people were perceiving me, and I was so scared. I was so scared of being photographed by a pap huge that I would not go out. It's so like I look back and I want to go and shake myself up now and say, Sameera, why did you do that to yourself? You know, when I gave birth to Hans and I I entered the C-section because it was a breech. I was at 105 kgs, and when I came out 1 week later, I was 105 kgs. I'm like, whoa! I thought
I'm gonna drop 20 like
miraculous.
this.
Then they told me, oh, with breastfeeding, you know, you lose weight. Bloody no! It was worse. And I think by 6 months, I was still huge. And then I got depressed. And then every time I tried to go out with that pram, women would come up and say the most hurtful things. At least the guys would say from far, like, oh, is that Sameera Reddy? But women would be like, Arey, kya ho gaya aapko?
Yeah, like as though some like life-threatening diseases happened to you because you put on whatever, how many ever number of kilos.
That sort of Janice.
And I don't think a lot of
pushed me in that hole. It pushed me in that hole and I couldn't get myself out of it.
And I don't think a lot of people realize that the reverse is also true, that when you were at the top of your game as Sexy Sam, as they wanted to call you, at that time also it was a different kind of struggle.
Yeah.
Because I remember you and I had this long conversation about food and feeling like we were big girls and we were always like, you know, or because you were doing films, I was on like anchoring on TV, and there's always this, you know, oh my God, you don't look a certain way.
The scariest part or the funniest part, I look at myself, like there's this picture of me wearing this beautiful like dress from Dior at one of the functions, and my waist is A-line. My arms are skinny. And I clearly remember the meltdown I had with my stylist that day before entering, saying, I look fat. And I remember this clearly. And today I'm looking at that picture, I'm like,
who is she?
What? Who's this hot chick? And I really was bitching her. And I didn't have respect for myself then, because I was so caught up in my own web of bullshit. Today I am 86 kgs. I got the roles. I got everything. But dude, I feel freaking hot, man. And I'm telling you, this confidence, does it really come in your 40s? It really does. I wish I had this then. And that's why I tell all young girls out there, I tell all women out there, I'm like, don't beat yourself up, because later on maybe you will still look at this and say like, oh my God, was I beating myself up
this
then?
Inevitably happens.
So I have this amazing exercise and tell everyone to do it. After you finish your bath, please stand naked in front of the mirror. And I mean butt naked.
Okay.
And look at your body. Look at every part of your body that bothers you and parts of your body that you love. Accept it, let it go, deal with it, and don't ignore it, because the biggest red flag, Janice, is when you stop looking at yourself and you start avoiding it. You know, when you start piling on that weight, or when you know your clothes aren't fitting right and then you just don't want to deal with it. That is your red flag, not for weight gain or weight loss. It's about how you feel about yourself and how you're accepting yourself in that moment. And I always say this, it's not about skinny, it's not about anything. It's about mental health.
Yeah.
It's about you in your body and your soul and how it's feeling. So it's almost like a ripple effect. So if you start off only every day with just, you know, it's almost like a prevention of falling off the wagon, where you actually look at yourself and love yourself, man. And please love yourself. That exercise is one of the most powerful things you can do. Because then if anybody says anything, you're like, please, bro.
I already know I love my back rolls.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I know I got my back rolls, but they're my rolls.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like between social media and between now, because we both are on camera in different capacities, right? Like you're shooting every second day, every day I see there's a new Sameera, like reel and this and that.
But my reels are complete time pass.
Complete time pass.
Half of them don't have makeup and half of them I look disheveled, but people are finding it.
Yeah, I think that's because you're tapping into the true authenticity of who you really are. But I'm saying, because you touched upon this entire body thing, I feel like it's like with me, it plays a lot. Like I sometimes look at social media for hours and then I'm like, nah, I don't look as good as any of these people. I don't look like, my body feels fuck all, or like, oh God, why can't I dress like this? Oh, why can't I be a little bit more poised in pictures? Why can't I learn how to pose?
Really, Janice?
Yeah, really. These are real thoughts I have in my head quite a bit. And I feel like
I think you're gorgeous.
Thank you.
Seriously. And I do not see, like, everybody is unique. And I know this sounds like really bullshitty, but it's the truth. Everybody has their space.
Yeah.
And I love flaws in a face. So, if there is someone who's not like the normal, that very, how it is, like beauty is perceived in so many different ways. In fact, I keep teaching my kids this. I tell Hans this always. I'm like, you will see beauty in so many different forms. You'll just have to find your own way and love it and create that for yourself.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm trying to tell you. For me, I find beauty in the most unbelievable spaces that people don't really look at. And once you start seeing that, then you won't be so hard on yourself.
I mean, this exercise definitely is one of those things to think about and to consider, and maybe a way to maybe get over feeling like that certain days. Because I just feel like social media, when things are going good, it's fine. And then when things are going bad, you're just like, oh God, no one likes me. And also, unfortunately, I think I'm one of those people who reads every comment.
Oh God.
No, I read.
Don't. You're killing yourself.
No, I read because, I'm also obsessed with like whole production, and I want to know what's the feedback on the audio, what's the feedback on the lighting, what's the feedback on the content. So I'm reading it from that POV कि मुझे सीखने मिलेगा. But what am I reading along the way? Oh God, this, oh God, that, what was she doing with her legs? Why can't she let people talk and this and that? And I don't know. My point is that when you got onto social media in the early days, right? And when you saw that even like your so-called friends from the film industry weren't supporting you, or when you felt like your audience was
It wasn't that
leaving
they weren't supporting me. I was irrelevant. Today I'm relevant. And I know that's the difference. And it's a human trait. So it's not like I feel bad about it. I'm not like one of those, oh, now you're back because you think I'm cool. No, it's human nature, yeah. That time I was nobody.
How many of them are asking you for collabs now?
Quite a few.
Sameera, Bombay कब आ रही है? कुछ shoot कर दे
I
साथ
have a
में.
lot of people say, gosh, you don't live here anymore. And I'm like, yeah, like, damn, we should do this. But the funny part is I like collabing with, really, if you see, I collab with real hardcore cool influencers. I am not about the numbers. You could even have 10,000 followers. If I think you're funny, please make a reel with me. And that is again something that I feel is really hard because people are like, हाँ कितने followers है? अच्छा collab करने में मजा नहीं आएगा फिर. How much am I getting out of it? I am not that person. I am about real content.
Yeah.
And sometimes I have made reels, like I made this amazing reel recently with this Aapka Jags. And he has like, he has a bunch of followers, like 90,000. Our reel touched 7 million. And that's what I'm trying to say. Sometimes it's just quality content.
Correct.
And Instagram and social media, unfortunately, is about the numbers.
Yeah.
And I keep saying this. It's your heart, your soul, and your passion and the quality of what you're putting out. And that seems to be completely amiss today.
But that's so sad, right? Because I mean, like you and I were talking about brands. And I've had actual brand managers or, people within the agency say that, it's no longer about like, they're not authentically checking your content or whatever. They're just looking at a data sheet.
Yeah. But we all are data. If you see it, we all are numbers.
We all are
now.
numbers. And that to me feels so sad because I'm like, you're not even for a second, because I'm exactly of the same thought process. I'm like, why did I start getting on social media? Because I didn't want to do the same bullshit news. And maybe you didn't want to do the same bullshit interviews, which would have been like, 2 publications, 5 publications, 20 publications carried. But am I really getting to say everything that I want to say, right? So that to me is like, how do we change that perception where we explain to brands that you have to go beyond just the numbers game?
So I have to say that that's not going to change. So let's not break your head upon that. I think what's the most important thing, and I keep saying this, is being true to yourself. Which is why like I do what I do. I stick my game, and sometimes if a brand doesn't believe in it, I always say, fine, I'll go with it. But then I know what the outcome is going to be. And the brands that have actually left me alone and allowed me to just be my mad self and, they have fun with me, those are the most viral reels that come out. But look, this is the business. And frankly, I didn't get into social media with the business in mind. My first love for social media still today comes from how it helps me channel my anxiety. I keep saying this to my tribe. I'm like, y'all are helping me. Forget about me helping you. When I put out a reel where I'm showing you my marks and my face and my age, babe, it's me almost crying out because I'm having a moment. It's like I need to remind myself. that I'm here and I'm also struggling in a way. I always get fascinated with people who have it together. I'm like, how do they have it together? Because I don't. I am so hormonal, it's scary.
It's an army of nannies.
It's
I want to tell you that. I'm sorry. I've
Like-
been in
like-
some of those households and I'm like, it is an army of nannies. Do not get me wrong for a second.
like-
No judgment. Because if you want it and that's how you need to run your life, absolutely fine. But there is an army of nannies.
I mean, it's incredible then because I have many meltdowns. I cry a lot. Actually, was like, oh, there she goes. And I'm like, babe, it's the only way I can keep it together. Like, recently we went for this amazing holiday to Paris and Amsterdam. And I cried a lot through it because we were having meltdowns with the children. Time changes, somebody's potty, somebody's thing, somebody's vomiting, somebody's eating, somebody's sleeping in Disneyland. It was a riot of emotions. Riot. I made a reel on it. It was viral because I just made fun of the fact that that's all Akshay and me were doing. Was
Yeah.
either sleeping somebody, cleaning somebody, bathing somebody, feeding somebody.
Reality versus
Major expenses for like a full, like it was boot camp. So it's just channeling that energy onto social media, but really talking about what's relevant, and that's what people relate to.
Wait, I mean, how about like the whole point about like I know now, of course, sassy sasu is like a major thing, and she seems to like really love it.
She loves it.
Love it. Okay?
She trips on it.
But Akshay, Naira, and Hans, getting them involved in all of this, because I also feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Akshay was very reserved about all of this
Very.
camera,
Oh.
Bollywood, social
He's
media.
still not on. If you see, he's barely there.
Huh.
It's because, and so nobody knows this, that I actually wanted to start. I saw J-Lo making a crazy reel with her then boyfriend, right? J-Lo did this viral video that time with her
This is how many years
partner.
ago?
2020.
Huh, okay.
Height of pandemic. That's
Huh.
when actually my social media kicked in big time. That's
Yeah.
when I actually came on board to social media.
Huh.
Now, nobody knows this, but I started channeling my anxiety with social media because I was shit scared in the pandemic. I had a baby that was 6 months old. I had my mother-in-law thrown into a house with Akshay, who has never spent so much time with me. And I was honestly losing the plot. And instead of breaking down, I decided I'm going to make content and laugh through it because that's the only way I can survive. And that gave birth to Messy Mama and Sassy Sasu. And it all started with me saying, Akshay, can you do this fun reel of flip the switch? So I'll wear this and then we flip the switch and then you have to be like that. And he's like, I am not getting onto your Instagram because you know how Akshay is.
Yeah.
Please.
I'm like,
Yeah,
please,
he's like,
Instagram,
I'm not going to do it. So he refused to make content with me. So I just looked at my mother-in-law and I said, do you want to try doing this with me? And she's like, sure. And that's how it started. And what's incredible is that she has the most amazing energy.
She does.
She's game for anything. I'm telling you, I could in the middle of a crowded place say, come on, let's do a dance reel. And she's like, chalo, kya karna hai? Because she trusts my edit. She trusts the fact that I present her right. And I love the fact that she understands that somewhere we are just making people smile.
Yeah.
I know this sounds ridiculous, but that is one of my biggest highs in life. When I see someone enjoying, when I see someone releasing their pressure, that is like, andar se I am the happiest person in the world. And I think she understands that. And that's how we started this Messy Mama and Sassy Sasu. And the kids, to be honest, I don't use them as much today on social media because they're a little grown up now. But again,
But just yesterday, I saw Hans going like, "Mom, chill."
yeah, I know. Just so you know, what's incredible now is that Hans understands editing. He understands direction. He sees ki Mama is like a one-woman army. I'm behind the camera, I'm in front of the camera. I'm doing my makeup, and this from years of having the entourage. Today, I'm like full come by. I'm everything. I edit the video. I put the video. I've understood the whole way of doing it, and what I enjoy that Hans sees me as a working mother at home. And now he also loves to edit. So even when I'm directing an ad, and if he's in it, he's into the process of it. Like he understands where the lights are. He understands.
He knows how to take his light.
Yeah, he understands that the camera is not, or like the mic is not on. I'm telling you, this kid for me is learning with me. So it's not about him being in front of the camera. He's understanding the process. So about a year ago, I said to him, Hans, this is your choice. I'm going to tell you I do these ads. I'll discuss the script with you. You want to be a part of it? Great. If you want, don't do it.
How old is he now?
He just turned 8.
You're having this conversation with an 8-year-old.
I have, and there
Yeah.
are times where he says, "No, I don't like it. I'm not going to do it." Okay.
Wow.
Yes, and he actually is. He earns in his own right. The billing of the ad is on his name, and I treat him like just my mother-in-law, my daughter, my everybody is for me. I treat them like I'm a production, and this is somebody, and I respect them. I respect their views. I respect how they feel.
Yeah.
And a brand knows that even today, if they ask me if your child wants to be in it, it's a massive discussion at home. We choose 1 out of 10 ads, and it is a proper, it's spoken about.
How did Akshay then eventually agree?
Well,
Because I feel like the kids and sassy Sasu or like
yeah, I think
your
Akshay
mother-in-law,
just somewhere. So it started off with West Side, when that was the first time, and that too because
that was a festive campaign.
yes,
Yeah, I
and
remember
that was
that.
the first time, and thanks to Umashan Naidu of West Side, I love you, Umashan. I said, Umashan, I can't get Hans. I mean, Akshay, I've just lost a massive credit card ad because Akshay refused to do it with me. And I said, how? I mean, now you want him to come on to West Side for a festive campaign? And he said, just leave him with me. I'm going to talk to him. I swear to God, I don't know what conversation he had with Akshay. Akshay just said, okay, I'm going to do this. And that started Akshay to come. And now he's done some massive campaigns with me for like Vim Black, for like
Oral-B.
Oral-B. He's the face of Oral-B with me. But he still keeps a massive distance because he's very reserved. Like, he finds it embarrassing. Like, he actually goes red in the face because a lot of chicks dig him. And they're very open about how much they like him. And sometimes Akshay's like, don't you get embarrassed? I'm like, no, man, I got the goods. They're checking it out. It's fine. I'm like, whoa, I'm like, it's okay. Just look, don't touch.
Look all you want.
So somewhere it's a healthy space.
Yeah.
It's a healthy space of consent, of everybody understanding what we're doing and keeping a distance. Like, my children don't watch Instagram or the phone.
Because I was going to ask
They
you,
don't know.
are they like mini celebrities in school?
So I put them in a very, very simple school, and it's so down to earth. Nobody, nothing. It's just cool.
What about when they come to Bombay?
That's the problem. When I travel with them, and so sweet. Hans will tell me, Mama, that auntie is smiling and waving at me. I'm like, Hans, just wave back. I keep a massive distance, and when people come close, I'm like, if you don't mind, they don't know that they're on reels. So if you don't mind, don't say anything. I have like a thing going on.
That's crazy. How many people do you ever tell this to?
I say this to everyone who comes around. Please don't show your phone to my kids. Don't show them the internet. We don't have YouTube in the house. We
Seriously?
have very controlled screen time, which is just on Netflix with certain shows. My son reads. My son learns coding, and I have a very different concept with the children. So it's a balance, and I do it right.
So at some level, they know that they're on some platform which is being seen by the world.
Yeah.
But they don't have access to it.
They don't have access.
So there's not that, because I feel like these things can sometimes also be, either if you've got a very balanced parent, you can turn out like completely fine, or it can completely
mess with your head. I know I have to prepare them for it, because at some point, obviously, everything is going to come out and be like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah, you can't hide them.
I can't hide. But as of now, at least with Hans, he's coming of age where he's understanding everything. And I want him to be very prepared. But with Naira, she's just too small. I mean, she doesn't even know what's happening, and she's like one bundle of...
She's adorable.
She's
adorable.
She's also adorable, but she has one thing which Hans had never had, is she has very clear vision on her wardrobe. It's hard. We do 6 dress changes before she goes to school. And she's 4 years old. And I don't know where this has come from, because
she's sexy Sam.
Dude, no,
she's
but
sexy Sam in that old avatar.
No, man, I'm like, Vela, I'll put anything.
That's now.
Hans will wear anything.
Now. Please, Sam, I have been with you in your house, in your wardrobe. Before a shoot, she would never be ready. We would always be like, Chalo, Sam, the thing is that Sam will give us the goods, but Sam will ask 10 opinions. Yeah, this is looking okay. No,
not only that, how many people did I have around me?
Yeah, you had ridiculous.
I had a manager, an assistant, and a hairstylist, and a stylist, and today I'm one woman show. I can literally dress myself, do my hair, shoot myself, edit myself, and post myself. Unlike Janice, who, by the way, you can't see, has a massive team behind her.
See, don't say
Celebrities.
She's whatever, it's fine. I need people. I'm not a one woman army. मुझ में नहीं है इतना दम, yeah. I mean, I need some time to get to Sameera level still. Apparently.
No choice nahi hai. I'm in Goa in the middle of nowhere in a
She's in
jungle
a
with
jungle.
peacocks. Okay. Okay, that's all. Every morning I hear peacocks. The funniest part is sometimes we can't do a take because there's a peacock in the back crying. And we're like, cut sound, peacock.
Now that you've built this entire social media legacy, you've got pretty much the whole family in on it. I'm stumped that you still haven't, quote unquote, made a comeback. Now, I really hate that word. I mean, and I know a lot of people hate it as well because you've not gone anywhere. But what I mean is that at heart, you've always, you're known still as an actor.
No, I know what you're saying because I get questioned about this almost every week. I get a lot of offers. I'm going to be honest. Not that I'm saying like I'm not going to say I don't.
Also, because this is
the
genuinely
time. Yes.
the era where I feel like
it is, but you know,
every
Janice,
kind of role.
I cannot tell you how much today I value my time with my children. And social media has allowed me that space to be there with them. I'm there when they come back from school. I'm there doing my son's homework. I'm at the PTA meetings. I'm very hands-on. And I'm kind of trying. I'll be honest, I have been reading scripts, but you got to leave for weeks. And I don't have the guts to do that because they are my life right now. And I can't tell you how much I love my husband, my children, and my family life now. And I need to have, in fact, I put out a post recently talking about it. As usual, my anxiety comes on social media. And I'm like, help! No, it was crazy. We got thousands and thousands of comments from mothers who are saying it's the same thing. They don't know what to do and how to do it.
Guilt.
It is a mother's guilt. You know, I'm here today and I'm thinking in my brain as Hans, how has he done on his Hindi test? So I'm not prepared to leave them for long moments of time. And that is the biggest reason why I've not done it. I know the time is now. I know there are great roles. I know I'm ready for it. In fact, today I'm fearless. I'm ready to do any kind of role. I think in the next year I will do it. I'm just trying to prepare myself there. Like,
because you were telling me something off camera right now. Like, one of the reasons Sam is in Bombay is you're taking care of your mom and dad who are dealing with certain health issues, right? And what did your mom tell you? That she put everyone.
Exactly. So my mom,
you say better.
My mom was going through a difficult health period right now, and it has been hard on us. I'm here right now for her, and there was a point where she was at her lowest last year, and she said, Sameera, when you are at the end, she calls it the end, like because she's 78. She's like, Sameera, she's like, my heart goes out to myself on all those moments that it was about everybody else. And she's saying it's what mothers do. It's what women do. And she's like, I'm trying to tell you that I'm not saying don't do it, but I'm trying to tell you to keep a part of it for yourself. And she's like, I didn't do it. And she's saying, today I look back and I know I didn't take care of my health. I didn't go for those doctor's checkups. I didn't monitor my sugars. She's like, I didn't take care of my knees because I was always on this galloping horse.
Like, what are my children
doing? What are the children? What my husband doing? And she was always that mom, and so much charity and so much, like I'm telling you, she has a social organization. She's such a powerful woman. But suddenly her health hit, and then she's like, you know what? I didn't do enough for myself. And that hit hard, guys. That hit me so hard. Then the last 1 year, I have upped my game. I have changed the way I look at myself because I am that person. I will give everything and my all to my children, to my husband, to my mother-in-law, to everyone. I do put myself last. And a lot of my posts in the last year has been, it's okay to be selfish.
It really is.
It is okay to think about yourself. It is okay to take that time out. You need to focus on your mental health. You can be a good mother and you don't need to feel guilty. You need to do things for yourself.
So I feel like as you're saying this, you're saying it to yourself.
I am.
Also.
I'm saying it to myself all the time. And it's something that's programmed in us. Ki shuru se you have to do things a certain way because that's just the way it's done. But today, luckily, Akshay really is that husband who is about equal parenting. He is about coming forth and saying, it's not like I'm doing you a favor. This is something I need to do. We're a team.
Yeah, like why do we keep thanking men for the basic?
But not many households do that.
I know, but it's kind of infuriating. Yeah.
It is. So I have that luckily with Akshay. But after what happened with my mother last year, I think I have really taken a very serious stand with I need to do this. In fact, that's one of the reasons why this year I'm even looking at scripts, because I decided, am I going to wake up 10 years later and say, shit, I had so many opportunities? Or am I going to make peace with it and say, no, but it was the happiest time of my life with my kids?
Why can't it be both?
And that's exactly where I'm coming to. So now I'm beginning to slowly leave for a bit to test how it feels, because I'm testing myself. This is, Akshay says, babe, this is more about you than your kids. She's saying you have to deal with crying when you leave them. They are fine. You know?
Because
In
I
fact,
feel
my son Hans told me, he's like, Mama, if you want to go do a movie or something, he's like, I totally understand.
He's like, yeah. Bro, you go.
Yeah. You know, Hans is like one extra only avatar. And then when I leave, he's like, Mama, don't go.
Because the point is coming to also is that when you sort of left the industry, at that point of time, think of the kind of roles that were being written for women.
Rubbish.
Right? Accessories to
My
male
favorite
leads,
word, rubbish.
Item girls, item song.
Completely.
Some fucking, too dumb bimbed scene you've come in and done. And you've done some of these as well.
I've not done some, I've done all of them.
Yeah, I was being polite. I was like, yeah, you've done some great work, but you've also done some of that.
I always say,
Yeah.
like, I was, all TNA, man.
What is TNA?
Tits and ass. I mean, seriously.
Okay, I did not get that. I was all TNA. I'm going to use that so much now. I'm all TNA, girl.
Tits
I'm
and
all
ass.
TNA. I'm all TNA. But now, when you look at it between OTT and even between movies being made for different mediums, oh my God, that area has exploded.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, I see, and it's such amazing. I mean, I see women like Vidya Balan and Kangana Ranaut changing the game, man. And then everybody else just, like, so many. I keep watching. I'm like, wow. I keep getting overwhelmed. Like, wow, this was not 10 years ago. And OTT also giving so much, so many meaty roles, strong
Yeah.
roles.
Like, you want to play, the editor of a newspaper, you go do that. You want to
Yeah,
play a freaking
yeah.
gangster, you go do that.
Yeah.
Where were these roles before?
Yeah.
It was all like, oh, just the men in suits.
Yeah.
But I want to end this interview by sort of like asking you now to figure out what are you manifesting next. And for those who are in the process of manifesting themselves, things for themselves, like, how should they go about it? So breaking it into two
So
parts.
there are two ways to do it.
Yeah.
One is for people who don't know what they want. It's hard. And one is for people who know what they want.
Yeah.
It's difficult to be generalizing this, because there are people who are a bit lost right now. And for them, I would say that you first of all need to really take time out and start to really figure out what inspires you and start writing it down. Writing is the most powerful thing. A vision board is incredible. Vision boards work. What is around you is what you actually manifest, and then you start doing affirmations around it. Very slow and steady, guys. It's not going to happen overnight. Whether it is body goals, mental goals, work goals, relationship goals, everything takes time. Give it a timeline of 6 months to a year to even slightly kick in. For people who kind of know what they want and don't know how to get there, again, like for example, I knew that I wanted a healthy conversation and some kind of a role in this life to change what the kind of, trap that I got trapped in after Hans with my own mind. I knew that I needed to work towards something with mental health for people and for myself. I just didn't know how. So again, the visualization came with knowing that this is what I need to work towards. Working towards something comes with being inspired, which every day it is a work in progress. You cannot just wake up and say, I got this.
Yeah.
You have to work at it every day, whether it's your own emotions, your own struggle, your relationships with people, with friendships. Everything comes with work. Work on it. Don't be lazy, as Kim Kardashian says.
I know what you're referring to.
You know what she says
With
about
Kim going like,
yeah.
no one wants to work. Get off your ass and work.
I was like, yeah, you got 500 people doing that, but that's okay. But I really mean it. You can't be lazy about even your own mental health.
Yeah.
You have to wake up every day, and I talk to myself, I talk to my children. I have energy coming from left, right and center because I'm greedy for this moment. I could pop it tomorrow. And I want to make sure that I live today. And it's something that's very strong in my brain.
And what are you manifesting for yourself?
I'm manifesting a lot of healthy moments for me, whether it's my own body, whether it's my own mind. Right now, health is very important to me. More than career, more than anything, I am manifesting health and abundance. This year for me is not about getting the right OTT. That will come. Work is there, money is there, everything is there. But I need to really focus on strengthening myself internally, because I tend to fall off the wagon a lot. I know this sounds ridiculous, but I do. I want to make those patches a little further from each other. And I'm aware that that happens to me. So I'm manifesting first, setting my internal access right. Once I do that, I know everything will fall in place. And I still haven't done it right.
Okay, so then I'm going to manifest health for you first.
Thank
and
you.
then eventually also for you to put yourself first. And because I know that you got into the space by accident, which is acting, and then you got into social media also by accident because
Fully.
you wanted a space. And both those things turned out so beautifully. And now the next chapter is for you to manifest to do all those roles that you complained for years about ki ye nahi karne milta, wo nahi karne milta. I'm manifesting that for you.
Thank you.
And only more happiness and more
Thank
success.
you so much. See, we're close enough to hug. When we started the show, we said we have to be close enough to high five.
Yeah. Yeah.